everyone, welcome to Blue Ridge Silverhound, and I'm here to share quite possibly one of my strangest finds in a while. And I'm really excited about one particular, actually a couple particular finds. I've just been kind of, I guess, networking, scouring, various areas like the bank and running into people that are cashing in coin at the Coinstar. And someone had brought in just over $46 in assorted change that they were going to cash out. And I approached this individual. And I said, hey, you know what? Can I buy your coins? I'll even give you even $50 for it. So, as it turns out, okay, after talking with the guy for a few, he said that there's some coins in here that he had collected a long time ago. The gentleman's like in his 50s. And he had put everything in here. All right. So it got me a little bit curious, but at the same time, a little skeptical because you never know what exactly could be hiding in this group. Now, I had already gone through all the coins, okay, and kind of paired out exactly, all of, what is unusual, what's rare, stuff like that. And, as you can see, there's a few gold dollars in there. There's, I think, 2 of them in there. So all in all, that's all pocket change right there. So that's going to go into the good old vacation fund. But right here, these are all BU-ish kind of copper cents from, that's a 1980. I think the earliest one I saw in here was like a 1960 or 64. There's another 80. There's quite a few 80s in here. 80. Here's a 64. So there's a number of these in this particular condition that came out of the box. I think all in all, it's about 60 coins. A little unusual. So this is probably a little part of what he had that eventually he ended up wanting to cash in the good old Coinstar. So it's funny because the Coinstar that he was going to look at just so happens that there was a couple coins in the reject tray, one of which is a blank Planchet. Kind of strange. I haven't found one of these in quite a while. The last one I did find was out of a box of pennies. And this one, of course, this one is a bronze, so it's a 3.11 bronze Planchet. And what I wanted to do was take a little time to kind of show you guys something on here, because there's a couple different blanks that you could find. So this particular one has what they call a stage 2 or a type 2 with the upset rim. So you can kind of see this shadow right here. It actually has the rim already profiled on the coin, okay, and there's a separate machine that does that. So this coin is ready to be struck with its full design, okay. There is a type 1 blank Planchet that you could find without the upset curled rim on there, but I thought this was a pretty neat find. Value wise, it's probably somewhere in like $3 to $5 range. For something like this, I mean, you could imagine this could have been a 1909 SVDB right here, because it's a bronze type 2. It could have been an earlier wheat cent. So this is one of the coins that I came across in addition to all of the BU specimens that you saw there a second ago. There was also, what else did I find? There was a few 64s. Kind of went through them all together here. Yeah, aside from that, there was, I did find one 1959 that was in tremendous shape, actually. This one right here is full red. It's got a couple little carbon spots, which, it's not my favorite thing on there, of course. But the neatest and probably most surprising find out of this whole group is this coin right here, okay? It doesn't look like much from the backside of it. I'm sorry in advance, you could hear my dog walking around behind me. She's got these long fingernails, but this right here is a copper-coated zinc coin, okay? But if you flipped it around to the front, you got this guy right here, okay? And you could tell that it's a 1982 large date. It's faint on there, but it's there. A few other things that you'll also see, okay? You also have kind of what looks like to be an enlarged impression of the Lincoln Memorial on the actual obverse. Sorry, I can't even talk today. On the obverse of the coin, you could see a faint impression of Liberty right here. You could see kind of like the profile of Lincoln right here, as it normally would be, and then you could see parts of In God We Trust on this top part. So, a few things. If I took a normal regular coin, put it right over it, it is slightly bigger, okay, and slightly thicker. So that's the first thing that, I found out. Second thing, I know exactly what this is, okay? It's what they call a struck through die cap error, okay? If I have, let's see, an example here. I will actually use this tube right here. Pretend this is one of the dies, okay? So you have an anvil die that that is stationary onto the press, the minting press, and then you have one that actually moves on a hydraulic, kind of arm, or actually not so much an arm, but it's the one that moves. That's called the hammer die. So you have two different dies that comprise the image of one coin. So the way that this struck through die cap coin works is, let's say you have the hammer die, the one that moves to make the pressure and the strike of the coin. So let's say you have the coin sitting in the collar on the anvil die, and then it comes to this other die, the hammer die, comes down to make the strike, and it's so quick too, because it'll hammer one, it'll eject, another blank will come in, it'll hammer, eject, and so on. So in the rare instance when one of the coins are struck, the actual coin will stay stuck to the hammer die, okay? So it'll stay there, it will not eject, and it will just be almost like it's glued on there. So what's going to happen is you're going to have your next coin that seats into the collar, ready for the next subsequent strike. You still have that coin sitting on there. So what will happen now is you have that one blank that's sitting there ready for its strike. However, you have an obstruction. You have this other coin that's still stuck to the die. So what you have is the coin and the die will again make the second strike on this other coin. And you notice that it has the Lincoln Memorial on the back right here. That'll actually make the impression onto this coin, along with the original impression of Lincoln on there. So you have a coin that, after a few strikes, okay, that'll make the die caps, okay, so it's capped right on the die. That's how they come up with that name. So as the next coin comes down, this thing flattens and it curls and it kind of wraps around the die profile. And then it's going to be something that an employee will see and identify. They'll stop the presses and they'll have to wedge it out of there. So, kind of neat. It's a pretty neat error in itself, but that's how it works. So that's a struck through die cap. Now, these have been discovered. This is probably maybe the second or third one that I've ever found. This one just so happens was in, a batch of coins that were intended for Coinstar. Now, something like this will probably end up coming out of the reject tray. It's either going to be tossed away as, kind of like a damaged coin, because not a lot of people believe that this is an error at first glance. So, but you have a full strike on the reverse because that's the side that is seated onto the anvil die. And then the back side of the thing will have the impression of the coin that is stuck on the hammer die. So I hope I didn't lose you guys when it comes to explaining exactly what that is. But this is This is a tremendous coin. I haven't found something like this in a long time. I've kind of hit a dry spell here recently within the last month or two. Have been striking out, trying to look for a West Point 2019 quarter. Okay, luckily I have a viewer that was able to send me, a couple examples. Good old Blossom Bloomer, appreciate it. But finding something like this is fantastic. Now let's talk a little bit about value, because you guys are probably interested in knowing exactly how much something like this sells for. So I'm happy to say, even in this one, because it is a copper-coated zinc Planchet, okay, usually those newer coins that are on that weaker, flimsier composition are worth less money. But I'm happy to say that something like this is between like $40 and $60. Not a bad score, guys. I think that this is a home run. I have not found anything quite like this in a while. And I'm glad to be able to talk about this coin with you today. Again, another tool for your toolbox when you're out there searching coin rolls and pocket change and piggy banks and, all that great stuff. But anyways, this is my find of the week, quite possibly find of the month, because we're almost toward the end of April. So that's phenomenal. Thank you for joining in on this video. As always, the best way you can show your support, hit the like button, share, subscribe. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on my little treasure hunting find. This is pretty cool. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as always. Thank you guys for your support and your views. I'll check back with you. I keep botching that for whatever reason. I'll check back with you guys soon. We're discovering together. Keep hunting, and you're bound to find some beautiful treasure out there. You guys take care.